Hey everyone, Chris here for Thomann Guitars and Basses. In today's Master Your Tone episode, I'll give you 5+1 reasons why one would choose solid state over tube amplifiers. This is a follow-up video. We did the opposite already, which was why one would choose tube amps over solid state. You'll find that video right here. The first reason to go with solid state amps is the price tag. Usually solid state amps are much more affordable, and even the top-notch, top quality ones cost a fraction of the price of a professional tube amp, which is, it's a big deal. Reason number two is solid state amps don't need a lot of volume to sound nice and balanced and natural. Their nature, coming from the design, doesn't need more power to sort of unleash its full potential. Solid state amp will sound pretty much the same from 1 on the master up until it starts to become too loud or it starts to distort in the power section, which doesn't usually happen very quickly. So solid state amps for at home kind of make a lot of sense. A lot of tube amps just sort of need a bit more volume than what you can deal with at home, which forces you to get an attenuator or to deal with the tone that you are able to get from a tube amp. Same as in the previous video, I've chosen a Quilter and a Rev amp to showcase solid state and tube amplifiers. I set both up for a very low sort of bedroom volume, and even though the Quilter is a perfect example of a nice solid state amp that just sounds perfect at this volume, the Rev doesn't make my job really easy to prove my point because it sounds almost annoyingly good for such a low volume. That's really not the case for a lot of tube amps. Point number three is that solid state amps are less sensitive to hits and abuse. They have less fragile parts inside, so they will survive better under rough conditions. You can leave them in rehearsal rooms or throw them around a bit more safely on tour. But still, it's an amp, so respect it. Point number four is about tubes. They are wearing parts. Even though they last forever, the day will come where you have to swap them, and that's definitely not something you have to worry about with solid state amps. Point number five is that solid state amps are, well, much more practical. They're smaller, lighter, and just nicer to carry around and put in your car's trunk. That being said, there are exceptions, obviously. There are tiny tube amps that will sound amazing and are really compact, so that's not an issue. And on the solid state side, there are amps like the Roland Jazz Chorus JC120, which is huge, but yeah, those are the exceptions. And that brings me to the +1, which is my favorite on this list. It's the clean tone of solid state amps. If you take, for example, Roland Jazz Chorus or any of the Quilters or anything else that's built this well, that clean sound is just out of this world. You take that with a stereo delay or reverb and it's fantastic. Let me know in the comments below what you want to know about guitar rigs and what you find confusing about them. And with all that tone talk aside, what really matters is to enjoy playing the guitar regardless of the rig and how good it sounds. See you in the next one.